Hello, everyone who's watching the recording. We are painting a bird's house today. The bird's house will be hanging from a branch of the tree. So this is what we're going to start with. Somewhere here up, you can plant a branch. That's gonna have like a circle, maybe. Yeah. So you have a branch and then you do a circle around it. Yeah, and then you can do like just the part that is visible. So not doing the circle completely. And this will have the feeling that it's hanging. So it's connected to the tree. Nice. And then, so I'm thinking how it will be connected to the roof. Okay, first let's draw maybe the house. So then the roof, the line of the roof are usually as a triangle. Yeah, feel free to make it big. So the painting is about the bird's house, and we feel now it's big. Yeah. Later we're gonna connect this ring to the house. I'm still thinking mechanical. So once you have this triangle, what you need to do, you need to put two lines kind of behind there, and it will give the feeling of the side of the roof. Yeah? This is the okay. And then inside we're making two lines, two short lines to the middle. And this will be the thickness of roof parts. So then we have a feeling of the roof. And then we're doing two lines down. That is gonna be the walls. So here we choose how big, how tall is our house. And then here is going to be one more line, the same like the roof, the same like these diagonals as the roof was. Go there. So this diagonal here, the roof, and line up, and this gives us the house. And so I'm thinking now, maybe I'm gonna move my ring a bit to the middle, but just a little bit. So how we're gonna connect? We can say, okay, the house gonna have like also some like handle, and this will be how it's connected to the roof. Yeah, so it looks a bit more realistic. And of course, the main part of the house is the bird's house is the circle, so where the birds can enter. So just, if you have some round object around you that you think fits the size, you can use it to make a circle. You can also try to do it by your head and then slowly making it better. Here is a little trick how to make it also, again, looking a bit more 3D. So inside this circle, we make like the half circle. This is, so we see the thickness, but we don't see the whole, we see just the side, because we see this side of the wall. So like imagine you're just looking direction like my pencil here. So this is the direction how I look. So then I see the inside part of bird's house. Yeah, later we're gonna also do the shadows, so it's gonna look even more realistic. Yeah. And what else would be important for a good bird's house? You want to make it comfortable. That here it has to be, has like a little, like a, let's say bench. So something a bit more going out. So we just draw a line here first. Yeah, I'm not gonna rush. So just on the house. And then we need to make it like a step, yeah? And again, with diagonals, we show this 3D. Cool, yeah? So to make the step, the same diagonals that we had here for the roof and for the wall, the same ones you're making here. Yeah, so here you can even prolong a bit. You can prolong just this line of the, yeah, and like this, you're gonna make this little step. So this part goes away. This is already like behind, we don't see it. And we have a step. So then we can also draw a bird sitting on this step. Yeah, so then it's comfortable. Bird flies to the house. It has where to place the feet and then to check.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I suggest now we make also a birdie. And then we plan if we want other like branches around. So we put the important things first, and then we evaluate compositionally if we need something more. So let's plan the birdie. Actually, I think we can start just putting the legs. So just like one longer leg here, one shorter. Yeah, and then kind of that is. The birds usually have this one part of the leg behind that helps to hold. And then here in front. So two legs. A bit more. Cool. And then we do the oval part of the body. Yeah, so like of the stomach part. See. And we can clean here a bit. So just give the space to clean a bit the house. And then what it has, so this is the stomach part goes up. Somewhere here will be the peak. Yeah. And then the part of the head. So we can connect. This will be the head. And here usually the wing is placed. I evaluate, maybe my leg, this leg is a bit too long. Make it maybe a bit shorter. Just to... And what the bird has. The bird has a peak. It's basically also the triangle that divided with one line in between.
Okay.
Cool. And now already we can make details. So there is a circle for the eye. So the eye first, we do just a circle. And then to make it look a bit more realistic, we always need to do this part of a white spot, and then the rest we make dark. Yeah, and then it has the feeling that the eye is looking. Yeah, very easy. And then the bird has a tail, so we can draw a bit longer. So under the wing, we draw here a bit longer. Our bird. Here I try to do some maybe already design, maybe a bit darker part here, you know, you can choose. Yeah, but then later we make it colorful and it will look nicer.
Okay.
Cool. Shall we do a bird? I don't know, maybe bird sitting here on top looking down. Maybe here like a bird, you know. So then its bird is not alone.
Maybe.
So let's just well, I'll try how it works if you find it nice. So basically we just need to change a bit the shape of the bird so it feels looking down. Then we have the, so again, like we can always start with the belly. So try to do the bird if it turns out good. You can repeat. For the body here, the wings. And then the difference is that the tail will be more up. And we'll make a head. And here just important where to position the peak. So it feels maybe I'm thinking like it's good, maybe the other direction would be better. I think I will go with the other direction. So sorry if you already started. Feel free to continue, but I just feel maybe compositionally would be like more that the bird is looking here. Yeah. And this is what's the also your job as artist is. Yeah, you always change and correct till it comes the way it looks better or the way you want it. Yeah, so I always encourage not to be lazy. I mean, it's normal that sometimes like, oh, we draw something and we don't really want to change, but in the sake of art. Yeah, I think I like this one better. So it feels like she's looking also to the house, checking how things are going there. And once you're more or less happy with your birds, then you check general composition. So I've added a bit more here branches, maybe here on top. Yeah, but it's already a bit more like a background. We're going to be adding leaves. So anyway, it's going to be looking more more full. Yeah, and then at the bottom, so I still feel like the bottom of my painting is a bit empty. So either maybe just a bit more branches, let's say, that are around there. I'm gonna add a bit, yeah, but I will color them very lightly, so just to give the surrounding. Or actually maybe I'm gonna go with the branch from the other side. But then it feels a bit more, maybe from the bottom. Yeah, so this is, all these decisions is your job as an artist to make. Yeah, how I want. Yeah, okay. Somehow it still feels to me, I'm gonna here, but maybe a bit from up, down to up. Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna have fluffy leaves, or maybe just maybe several branches here. Yeah, because if I add a branch from there, then it feels like another tree. If I add the branch from here, then it maybe it's kind of the same tree. It makes more sense. Sorry.
Okay.
Yay, good one. So before to proceed to paints, to coloring, we can also lighten up a bit our drawing. So then the pencil is not visible so much. Because it's normal, we when we need to find the shape, like with the birds, yeah, or also house and branches. So we move, we press our pencil a lot till we find the correct direction. But once we find it, yeah, then we can erase what we don't need and also lighten up. Yeah, because the pencil affects the paint as well. And if it's dark colors, let's say if it's the dark brown from the tree, then it's not that important. But if it's something yellow, let's say we can make a yellow birdie, then it's gonna be visible. For example, when I'm painting sunset, I plan the place for the sun, but I try not to put pencil there, just leave it empty and just go straight directly with the brush, putting yellow, and then it always looks more clean. So of course you erase till the way everything is still visible for you, but then the pencil doesn't interact so much. And then definitely be sure to clean well all the eraser leftovers. So yeah. Cool. Now let's plan our painting process. So I would say the background, so we can choose, or we can do both actually. A little bit of light yellow and a little bit of light blue. But then carefully not to mix it. So light yellow will give the feeling of the sun. So it's a warm day. And the light blue, of course, the feeling of the blue sky. So when we're using acrylics, or also gouache. Remember, you can use them in a very, very transparent way, almost as watercolors. Yeah, and this is the way we're using often for the background. And later, when we already do the details, we use less water, a bit more already consistent the paint. So I've put yellow, blue, and I will put some white. So my aim here is to do one very light mix of yellow and one very light mix of blue. But then be careful while putting them on the paper. We will try to put them separately, because then we remember mixing blue and yellow gives us green. But although here maybe it's not that important to, I mean, it's fine if you'll get some green, because we're going to be putting green leaves on top. So it's going to kind of help us to avoid but if you're putting just without leaves, let's say it's autumn, so no green leaves. Then of course try to avoid having green on the sky, because we remember there is no green in the sky. Yeah. So more white, less yellow, again more white, less blue. So even these tiny piles that I have put of yellow and blue, it's already too much. And let's see, I'll put yellow more to the bottom, maybe here around. And here you can definitely use also a bigger brush. And this is the trick. If you manage to make the mix like transparent enough, watery enough, then you can go also over the branches. So you don't really need to, like, you can save time by not going around the branches, but basically just going on top, because later the branch is going to be more dark anyway. But this works only if your mix is transparent enough. I'm putting bottom yellow. And then you need to kind of find where you're gonna do the transition. And it's comfortable to use branches to do the transition. So maybe even all this still part I can do yellowish, or you can do the opposite maybe actually. Here would be maybe better, a bit more blue. Yeah, maybe here would be better, a bit more blue. And it's fine to get mistaken a bit. So just remember how to correct. Let's say this is what happened to me. I have put here blue, but now I've decided actually I want more blue sky. So the most important is to let the thing dry. So I have used paper towel to kind of just quickly get excess of water. And still I'm leaving this part to dry. And then once it's dry, it's no problem to go on top. Yeah. So this is our golden rule. Let it dry first. Yeah. And you see how dark my blue went with white. Yeah, so then always mix slowly. So you have a pile of white and then you add a tiny bit of blue. You mix and then you see how it looks. And only if you need more, then you add a bit more. Here I'm looking for very light blue, so it's really neutral since it's background. And of course, I started painting on top as we spoken that I'm letting this part dry, the part in the middle, that I made a little miscalculation. And again, if your blue is transparent enough, feel free to go on top of the branches. I'm going around the birds, so birds still I'm leaving clean paper because it still depends what kind of color we're gonna choose for the bird. So we have our background and we leave it rest.
I'm almost done.
Cool, nice, Ellie. So after the background, so we let the background dry before going on top with branches. So we can go and do the house. And then I suggest for us to choose what color shall we have for the roof and for the walls. So maybe the classical would be something like ochre, so a bit like wooden, so this yellowish dark for the walls. And the roof actually can be really up to your choice, because let's say the roof is colored apart. And so you can choose maybe your favorite color or whatever color you want. Can be green, can be like dark brown would be the typical, maybe something more bright. Maybe you want red roof. So you choose. I think I will go with the green roof. I just have a feeling, no, choose this color. And it will be also enough to choose one, although we're gonna do the shadows. So to show again this 3D feeling, we need to choose which parts are gonna be darker and which parts will be lighter. And this decision is based basically where we choose the light will be coming from. So we can say, let's say the light will be coming from this way. So where my pencil is now, here I'm gonna put it now, here my pencil. So I put it here, kind of not to forget, and then then I will know that, let's say this wall. So which part, if the light is coming from one side, the shadows are on the other side. So this is always the rule. They can't be on the same side. So if the sun is shining on the left part from you, shadow's gonna be on the right. And the opposite, if you have sun on the right, shadow's gonna be on the left. Or if the sun is on top, shadows on the bottom. If the sun is behind, shadows will be in front. So very simple rule, just the opposite side. So if I choose, then it means this wall will be a bit darker. So this I can make a bit lighter. And here how I chosen this, so I said, okay, I actually want the bigger spaces to be more light and just little tiny spaces to be more dark. Yeah, so this is just why I've chosen the light from that side. Yeah? And usually it's always also on top. So I choose right or left, but basically it's always also like top right or top left. And what I need to do here. So I need to do kind of a bit lighter and a bit darker color. So I've chosen green for my roof. So I will need one green a bit more lighter. And you remember there are two ways how to manage it. Or we are adding white, or we're adding just a bit more water. And actually I prefer adding a bit more water because adding white makes color lighter, but also a bit more pale. And if I do it just with water, so it kind of, technically I use just less paint. So the paint is more diluted, but it's not losing its tonality. Yeah, it still stays, let's say, green bright, but if I add white to the green, it's gonna be more pale. Yeah. And with the light part, I do this frame of the house. I haven't thought actually, I mean, I've skipped if we're gonna have green leaves around, but I think anyway, my green roof is gonna look fine. Then I can choose other type of green for the leaves. Yeah, so it doesn't look the same. And then what I need to do the roof, so then I can use just less water and more intense the consistency of paint on my brush. And we're gonna do the same story with the walls. So the part we have chosen will be in front. Yeah, it's gonna be lighter. So just the same paint, just a bit more water, and then just less water, more paint for the other side. If you're using the same brush, watch it well, especially when going from dark back to light. So let's say I've used dark green and I want to use yellowish. So here I have my, let's say I have put from my paint and then just one part. I get my brush pretty watery, and here next to it I make like a puddle. Yeah, and once it's a puddle, very diluted, go and color it. Yeah, and if you put your brush to the paper and you feel it's still too dark, it's very easy to correct. You just go with quickly with your brush to the water and just kind of clean your brush, get a bit more water to the brush and get back to your paper. It's gonna give a quick touch, so it's gonna be more transparent. Basically, when we use paints, it's a bit all about the use of water. So how less water we want. And again, if let's say like this, I have put, but I still feel maybe I want it lighter. Paper towel is also something that helps me. And here, while it's wet, it's not gonna work when it's dry, but while it's wet, I press it and look, it takes off my paint. If it feels okay, I've taken too much, I can always add a bit. But this is also something that helps me to play. So let's not forget also the step where the bird is sitting. We can put again just the light color, and then we make a bit darker some other parts. And there is no rule that you need to start with the lighter part and then the darker. You can start the opposite. First, you make like the shadow part, then you move to the lighter. It's just maybe because making darker is easier in some way. So maybe starting with light, so then you see, okay, how light actually I can go. And here the shadow gonna be, so don't forget also this step where the bird is sitting. And very important, this half circle inside the circle, it's also gonna have this darker color. And then it gives it, aha, it belongs to the shadow side. And the circle in itself, the rest of it, we're also gonna have to do darker, because it also always looks, of course, dark there. But I suggest we go with some grayish, let's say. And if you are already a bit more advanced painter, so maybe just a flat colored house looks maybe already a bit too simple for you. Remember, you can use the technique of dry brush. Oh, before we move to the technique of dry brush, one more shadow I've almost forgotten. That is very important always when we paint houses, is the shadow under the roof. It's like always there. So already just with this stripe here, and also we can put a little stripe here under here with more darker. You show the effect of yeah, this is very important. You should remember the house with the roof, always shadow on the wall from the roof, because yeah, the roof always is kind of going over the wall. That's the construction thing. So if it's raining, the water is not getting to the wall. And then it's always shadow. And talking about the step where the bird is sitting, I have left this horizontal part the whitest, because again, you just need to imagine, okay, the sun is shining where it shines more. So the shine is from top. So the surface that is kind of is on top, like looking to the sun directly, is of course will be the lightest.
I think I'm ready to do the birds.
Nice, yeah, definitely. While we did the house, the backgrounds are dry, so we definitely are moving. Our next step is gonna be the branches. Yeah, we take brown color, and remember again the same story. So here I'm leaving my pencil as direction of the sun. And with branches, it's typically that upper part is lighter and the bottom is a bit darker. Yeah, so and the way I like to do it, not to complicate or like to make my life easier. Again, I make my color a bit more watery. So first I go and color just all the branches with a bit lighter part, lighter tone. And then I do just a little touch-ups of darker. So I have here this brown tone that I don't really like. It's a bit too reddish. So when you want to change your brown to a bit darker, I like to add a bit of blue. Then it becomes more deep color. And so here I've changed the kind of color of my brown, but still it's watery. Still it's the way I'm going to be using it. Yeah. So I go, and here just very easily. So, and I went for a smaller brush because then the branches are already a bit more narrow. Yeah, we choose the brushes by accordingly what we are painting. Yeah, if it's something small, narrow, just to feel comfortable. Yeah, and here, of course, I can go prolonging and not just the branches that I did with my pen. So if it feels I want and also a little tip, remember to make them different, the thickness. So some parts so then it looks more and more interesting. So what I do, just go for branches as they are. And then I can go and do the one, what I told you to do, a bit darker side. So just less water, and from the bottom I'm adding. But here it's a bit more, so it's not just line, because the branches are round. So it has to be a little bit like transition. So the branch that I did here, like example, this looks weird, like the half branch is dark, half is white. So what I do, I just clean my brush. It's clean, but a bit wet. And then just with the clean wet brush, I kind of remove this border line. So make the borderline a bit more wet. And it removes the line, so then it's not that too. But having this darker line at the bottom part of the branch shows that you are already aware about light and shadow theory. Yeah, it means you're already more experienced painter. Well, I'm thinking maybe I can use also a bit of this. So I had bluish in my palette that I mixed with brown. And I can use also this dark bluishy color to make the bit darker this part where the bird lives. Maybe also not too dark. Yeah, not too dark. So yeah. Yeah. This is, I think, something that painters continue mastering all the time. So how dark, how light you should put something. Yeah, so I just had here a very dark circle. It looked weird. So let's say more, and I easily corrected it just by paper towel, by just tapping a bit and nice. Well, and then of course the main heroes of our painting are birds. And here I suggest to use as less water as possible. I mean, of course, you need some water on your brush, otherwise the paints won't work. But try to put like even a bit of, you know, so I put enough amount of paint, especially like here with this yellow. So it feels more like over painting, you know, so we have a background, but we also have this. And then it feels the birds are important part of the painting. So I took like really thick amount of yellow on my brush. Yeah, small brush, so it's easy paint and yeah, I did the base. And for the backs of the birds, I suggest also one of mixes I like to do is this grayish blue. And grayish blue is, again, it's blue with brown. So I have, but in this case, more blue than brown. Brown then gives, because if you take just blue, it's kind of very bright. And if you add white to it, it's still gonna be like brighty blue. But I want it pale, I want it grayish. So the mix of blue and brown gives this. Yeah, and then you just add a bit of white, and then you can control. So what I usually do, I usually mix blue and brown and leave it here like in a pile apart. And then next to it, I just connect, like add white. So then I have two colors. I have the dark blue, dark grayish, and I have very light grayish. Yeah. And then the same, more or less the same system we often do. First, we put a very light color. Yeah, so like I'm putting the light grayish and coloring all my bird. Yeah. I leave some parts just white as paper is. Yeah. And then when it's dry, I can get somewhere a darker touch-ups. Yeah. We can also definitely add a bit of blackish to the bird. So doing peak and eye, feel free also to go with a pen. Yeah. It's actually something, while I'm waiting for my this light grayish to dry, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just take a pen and I'm gonna do my eye. Oh, maybe another pen that is working better. Because the tiny details might be also hard to do with brush. And there is no rule, you can't use a mixed media artwork. Yeah, but if you have a tiny brush and you feel sure enough, of course you can go with it. And you can also, of course, already think a bit about the fluffiness of the bird. So you can, when you're adding those dark grayish parts, Okay, here I feel the proportions of my bird are a bit, the head a bit too big as the body. So then I make a bit bigger the tail. Yeah, so this is also important. If I have maybe miscalculated this part at the start in my pencil drawing, then to correct it, of course, I always need to go to correct the part that looks smaller. In this case, it was the body. Yeah, because I can't make head smaller, but I can correct a bit the body. Birdies. Aha, the legs as well. The legs actually, again, this is something you can do with pen if you like, or just with also pencil, a bit darker. The brush also, of course, if, yeah, here I did with a pen, and just as example, I show you how to do with the brush. Yeah. So with the brush, it's a bit also a bit more thing that you have practiced enough doing thin lines. And then you kind of know your brushes, and to make enough thin line, you need to, the brush needs to be watery enough.
I think I'm done. I just have to wait for like the eyes to dry because I did white dots, but I still have to do the black around it with a pen.
Nice, yeah, good one. Yes, definitely waiting for it to dry. Now what you're thinking, shall we do the leaves, or, oh, I can see you painting. Hey, that's so cool. I like your painting a lot. And I like the spots it's around between the leaves and the housey. Very nice. Maybe you know what? Also, the circle of the house, you can make a bit more darker. Now it feels a bit more the same darkness of the house, just a little bit more. So maybe not too black, but a bit more that it has the it's more visible. But in general, nice. I actually like your painting more than mine. I think it's more life. I'm thinking, what should I should do something to improve mine, because I feel it's a bit boring with those empty branches. So now it feels like a very early spring, no green yet. And if I shall add greenish, I'll start adding maybe little greenish parts. And see how it looks. Just maybe tiny, tiny green leaves. I think with the yeah, with green leaves I like more, a bit more springy feeling. Now I will experiment because I still feel my painting is a bit more empty. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a fan brush. And so this is the moments when usually you have like your painting ready and it's either you're gonna add something to make it better or ruin it. Before I proceed, something I saw I haven't done, this connection ring. Yeah, so just to have it there. So it feels the house is connected, it's hanging. Okay, I have a fan brush. Oof, let's see if it works. I just want to do a bit more springy feeling that maybe there's some trees behind. It's a bit more fluffy in my painting. Maybe. This is also one sort of the way, like when you did your painting and it's a bit too rigid, you can make a bit more like abstract brush strokes. Maybe it helps, yeah. But it's always like a way, like sometimes it works, sometimes. Yeah. But like my idea was giving it a bit more fluffy, greenish, springy mood. And so some leaves are staying here, more realistic. And then I have those greenish strokes behind. Maybe there are like some trees, other things behind. And here I'm playing like with two darker greenish, lighter greenish. Nice. Well, thank you, Ellie, for joining today, painting together with me. The birdie house. So, yeah, I like when students, they finish earlier than teacher. Means they are progressing nicely. Cool, I'm almost finished as well. Just looking to give some those more artistic strokes, let's say, and convert my painting in not that boring that it turned at start. Yeah, maybe also here, going a bit also on top of, on purpose, on top of the house. Okay, here I did a bit too quickly because I'm rushing now. But I can correct a bit here. Okay, not overdoing. Remember, it can all go a bit. Okay. Nice. I will stop here. There are lots of touch-ups I would still like to do. Also with shadows. Maybe some shadow of the bird here as well a bit, you know, those like tiny details. Nice, but in general, I think we managed to have an interesting spring painting. In the end it turned out sweet painting to be. Good. I'm happy with my drawing now. Sometimes it's hard to stop doing touch-ups, but in one moment it needs to be done. Okay, I'm taking tape off. Mhm. Yay, springy birdie house is ready. Mm.
Cool.
Nice. Our artistic hour. Colored. Next time we do something else. And like this, step by step, we practice our skills and get better. So the aim is later you can paint whatever comes to your head you would like to paint. You're able to do this because you have practiced your skills. Mm. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've painted as well while watching this recording.